Hungriya? That's a Tamil expression meaning, are you hungry? A question to which the answer almost invariably is yes, here in a land that loves its food more than any other I've ever been to. 3 years ago, I was here in Chennai shooting a movie called Onan, and we ate more wonderful free meals here in this restaurant than any other. This is Oru Sorru, a grain of rice, where I'm proud to call the owner a personal friend. I'm going to talk to him now and find out exactly how it's done. Follow me. Well, I'm now with Mutton Dosa, the owner and founder of Oru Sorru Restaurant, and I'm ready to talk about food, a subject very close to my heart and that of most Indians, I suspect. Now, where I come from in Australia, people have an idea of Indian food that's pretty narrow. It's really just, I think, what you would call North Indian food, and they think it's all very hot and spicy. But the world of Indian foods is much more complex, isn't it?
Yes, Indian food as such is very complex and diverse would be a better word to say, explain it. Simply because the type of food and the ingredients keep changing, let's say approximately every 100 kilometers.
Really?
Yeah, so that's how diverse Indian cuisine is. Yes, there are, I mean, abroad you have certain part of the Indian cuisine, more like you said, more of the North Indian cuisine, the tandoor, which is popular there. But Indian cuisine as such is quite wide in the variety.
And different regions have their own cuisines, don't they?
Yeah.
So what would you say distinguishes South Indian cuisines from the North, for instance?
South Indian cuisine is more rice based and North Indian is more wheat based, and the roti, and so that's the general food habit of South Indians. You know, they eat a lot more rice.
Yeah.
And North Indians are more of wheat eaters, so the roti happens there.
Gotcha.
Apart from that, yeah, it's the gravies, the way the gravies are made and mixed and presented are quite different.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the idea that all Indian food is hot, I discovered on my last visit, is quite false. That in fact we had to beg people to please make us something really, really hot, and it was only you on our final night here who ordered your people to make this bomb for us that finally was hot enough to burn our mouths and burn our fingers. But it's much more about strong flavours, isn't it, than just being hot.
That's right. I mean, every gravy has a distinct element to it. One would be a little sour, another a little bitter, another. So it's like, it's the range of gravies, and each one has its own specialty, and that's why the spicy, hot gravies are there. And people of today don't actually want it so hot because of like awareness, health reasons, and all that. But when it comes to taste, we, still have to stick to the basics.
Yeah. Not many people like it as hot as I do, for instance. Now, your restaurant specializes in a cuisine from a particular region here, doesn't it?
That's right. Oru Sorru specializes in Madurai cuisine. That's basically where I'm from, and that city, Madurai, is very famous for its food, and especially the street food. Yeah, and anywhere you go, you can find at any time of the day. It's famous for that. It's called the city that never sleeps. It's called Tunga Nagaram, which means city that never sleeps.
Yeah. New York and Madurai, two cities that never sleep.
So, and it has a tradition of serving very good and very economical food wherever you are in Madurai at any time of the day.
Wow, I must go there at like 4 in the morning and ask for a good biryani. Now, and you've got a lot of meat in your cooking too, which I must say is something I missed in my first 2 weeks of this visit, because it was all vegetarian, and after a while I was hanging out for some meat. Is that something that Madurai does more of?
Yes, that's another distinct feature of Madurai, is that basically Madurai has, I mean, generally South India as such is more of non-vegetarians. So there's a spread of, so North Indians are 70% vegetarian, and 30% non-vegetarian, while the South Indian breakup is 70% non-vegetarian and 30% vegetarian. So there are a lot more meat eaters down south in the country. But if you take Madurai especially, it has a culture of eating the red meat as compared to the other cities in the state. Like, let's say you compare this with Chennai or Coimbatore, where the per capita consumption of chicken will be much higher than mutton. But if you take a place like Madurai, the per capita consumption of mutton will be much higher. So that's a distinct feature. And you get a very, very good mutton there. You know, in Madurai is very famous for its mutton and the dishes that are made along with it.
Yeah, because in another of our conversations you explained that different ingredients taste different depending where they come from.
That's right, that's right. The source, like even if you see at Oru Sorru, we source our ingredients from different parts of South India. And so that makes a lot of difference in the way our food turns out. I mean, it's, let's say, it's half the effort is by the cook in getting everything right, and half the effort is in getting the ingredients to the place for the cook to get it ready.
Perfect. Now the recipes and the techniques, I understand, come originally from your mother, that, you know, create the menu here. Or
That's right. Yeah. This restaurant was started with a longing, you know, I having come from down south, Madurai, which is a little further south, and having come to Chennai, which is the capital of the state, Tamil Nadu. So having come here and lived here for about 10 years, one thing I really missed was the food that you generally get in Madurai. And I thought, okay, there will be other people who will have a certain, the same longing for that kind of a cuisine. And it's our, you know, it's very much a family thing that, you know, when we have all these family feasts and, you know, everyone gets together and they cook some wonderful food during these feasts. And my mother is a specialist at that, and she's like really good. So I thought, you know, why not use her expertise and bring about good cuisine to this part of the state, which hasn't seen much of this.
Yeah. Of course, Chennai is a big food town, so there's plenty of competition. But you managed to pull in customers from the beginning.
Yes, we did have certain hardships during our time, you know, after we established, because this food was totally new to this city. So we had, I mean, like, let's say, for example, in our biryani, we use a type of rice called Sirag Samba, which is not your typical basmati rice, which is generally used throughout the world for biryanis. And we would have people come in and say, okay, this is not basmati rice, I don't want it. Then later people have developed the taste and understood that, you know, this is something that can be used for biryani. And traditionally, this part of the country has been cooking with Sirag Samba for biryani. So they've somehow come to understand. And after we've come up, we've maybe created a culture or a segment in Chennai where, you know, like, people generally think that, you know, South Indian food is Chettinad. But we've created a segment that says, okay, it's not only Chettinad, there is a Madurai, Dindigul, you know, a cuisine that is a little different from Chettinad, but still, you know, South Indian.
Yeah, so it's a unique menu. One of your specialties is the egg biryani?
The Oru Sorru.
Oh, right.
We call it the Oru Sorru because it's the mutton biryani with the accompaniment of dalcha and a brinjal katta, we say, and the onion and curd salad kind of raita.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, and a special gravy with that, and a sweet. And the highlight of the Oru Sorru is an egg, a boiled egg that is coated and fried in minced meat. Minced meat with a couple of masalas.
Yeah, I've never seen that anywhere else, and it's very distinctive, and it tastes fantastic. The other one is a new invention that I have yet to try, but look forward to, the dosa.
Yeah, the dosa is, we traditionally were serving something called a mutton dosa, a mutton dosai, let's say. That is the traditional dosai where, you know, it's a dosai that's layered. It has a base of the typical dosa along with minced meat and egg, and it's topped with tomatoes and small pieces of mutton. So it becomes, it's almost like a pizza, you can cut it and eat it as individual pieces. So that was the traditional mutton dosa we were serving. And suddenly we realized that, why don't we look at different toppings for the dosa? Yeah. So that's when we hit upon the idea of having a fusion menu and came up with a dosa pizza. So it's like a dosa with pizza, made it a dosa. So that's the dosa section, and we offer a range of pizza dosas, so to say, like the chili chicken dosa, the butter chicken dosa, or the paneer tikka dosa.
Yeah, Manchurian chicken.
Chicken Manchurian dosa.
Yeah, fusion, Indian, Chinese, Italian, brilliant. So, in fact, you're not just recreating some historic cuisine, you're still inventing new things today.
Yeah, we are working on it. We are looking at furthermore extensions of the same, hopefully.
And you're obviously pulling in interesting clients like the film crowd here in Chennai.
Yeah, interestingly, we are just located at a hub, like this, the place where we are located is where a lot of film activity happens, where there are a lot of studios, recording places and all that. So the film fraternity are known for their for good food, and they really enjoy their food. So a lot of people come here, they take out, they order out, they want it delivered. So we get in touch with a lot of film people who really enjoy our food, and we're quite happy about that because we get to boast about it that so and so.
Oh yeah, got a few famous faces coming through occasionally.
Yes, we have very famous people coming in, but the problem is once they really become famous, they really can't afford to come in. We've had a couple of people like that who used to come here regularly, and then a couple of hits later, it's too not good for them because they'll be mobbed here if they come, so they really avoid. So we deliver to them.
Yeah. Right, because you do the home delivery thing. Yeah. Of course, film stars, I should explain to the audience, are like gods here apparently. And a friend was telling me just today that sometimes, if a star gets sick or dies, people have been known to, kill themselves as if their king or their god had died. That's how seriously people take stardom here. So you do have regular customers, not just film people, but regular.
Yes, that's one surprising thing that we have been able to manage. The food and the cuisine being something that South Indians would generally eat every day. So that makes it more of a reason for them to come in regularly. And it's not like Italian and Chinese, which they like to experiment once in a while. So that way we have had a lot of, I would say even somewhere a rough statistic about 85 to 90% of our customers are just regulars. So that's the kind of patronage we've enjoyed.
That's brilliant. You keep pulling them in, even in the face of a really difficult situation like this flyover out the window that they built right across the front of your shop. That could have killed a lot of businesses, but you survived.
That's true. Actually, every business, or let's say specifically the restaurant business, the average life of a restaurant is if it survives the first year, then it becomes successful. But if it doesn't get through that, it's a very difficult part, the first year. And we had the flyover being constructed typically about 4 or 5 months after we had started. So that was like the worst period to have a flyover to get constructed right in front and the entire road to be blocked. It was a very difficult period, but during that period we did not compromise on anything in terms of food, in terms of the quality, and that has helped customers come, make it a point to come here no matter what, even if there's heaps and heaps of mud and it's rained and they come in all this slurry, they make it a point to come here and have their food. And it's that encouragement, that customers are so persistent and they like our food, that has helped us and guided us, saying that we are in the right direction, we're doing the right thing, and our food is something that is appreciated by people around here. Yeah. So that is what has kept us going.
Nice, and indeed going to your 5th anniversary now.
Yes, we have survived our 5th anniversary.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And finally, you are not going to stop necessarily just with one restaurant, because now that the world is finding out about Oru Sorru and the glories of its food, you have plans in your mind to expand, go international, franchise?
That's right. Oru Sorru was started with an idea of having multiple outlets, and we are looking at having outlets possibly within the country or outside the country, mostly through a franchise. So we are very much, on the lookout, because we feel that, like you said, people think Indian food is just tandoor and all that. So when we take an Oru Sorru, people abroad will definitely get a feel of what actual Indian food is, and there's a lot more than what they actually taste.
That is a beautiful note to end on. Thank you very much, Hira, because it brings us full circle. I can't wait to order something and eat. Thank you.
There's an old saying about Indian food: even when it's bad, it's still pretty good. To which I'd add that when it's good, it's downright heavenly. Remember the name: Oru Sorru.